What up, bro?
Yo, what it is?
How was your week?
Doing good. Hey, do I sound feedbackish? Am I giving off feedback? Am I heard clear? Am I clear?
It's clear this time.
Okay, cool. Man,
What you done did different?
I'm using a speaker. Well, I'm using a microphone instead of just my phone. I got another. I'm using this to talk into, and so I was just trying to see if I'm giving off that feedback.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds better. How was your week?
And it was smooth, man. You know what I mean? I went in today, did a few hours today, but it's been smooth, man. You know what I'm saying? Same old.
Yeah, I spent my day doing work I'm not properly skilled or compensated for. I'm not qualified or compensated to do the work I was doing today, but I did it anyway.
And look, are we ever?
Don't matter now. None of the rules apply. All the rules the white man spent the last 75, 80 years enforcing, now the white man is breaking. So now what we got left to do? The international norms, international law, all the treaties, the white man, his constitution, states' rights, everything the white man spent the last 200 plus years, Magna Carta, fucking, consent of the governed, the social contract. The white man is reneging on the whole world order that he forced on us. So we got to figure it out now, because black people, as Dr. Clark said, we out Pope the Pope, we out Muhammad. We love taking the stuff the white folks force on us and then, adhering to it. So.
Yeah, bro, that's wild, man. I don't know how we got here, man. I mean, I do, but I don't.
We just gonna wait for the white man to make up new rules for us to all to follow, new international norms, new treaties, new constitutions, new standards. Remember, you couldn't be president if you were divorced. You couldn't be president if you had a criminal record. You couldn't be president if you were a known philanderer, bankrupt. All these rules. Remember, have you still been hearing black people talking about we need to do better? And have you heard any respectability coming from Negroes lately?
No, I can't say that I have, man. You know what I mean? I can't say that
they ain't
I have.
Even telling black people, oh, we must do better, black people. I haven't seen much of that anymore since the white man done went off a cliff. White folks done went off a cliff.
Do better compared to what?
So white people were always the standards of decorum and civility. Black women wearing bonnets outside, and black men sagging pants, single parent households, all that. So true.
That's the standard, man. Then you know what I'm saying, we haven't robbed enough, we haven't killed enough, we haven't exploited enough.
Oh no, that was back then. The white man, his criminal history don't count. Like, you go to get a job, your criminal history counts. But you want to dictate to how the whole world economy and politics should be structured, then your history don't count. Your criminal history don't count. It ain't no registered racist offender registry.
Bro, like, if they had to
y'all gonna kick in, listen.
If they had to deal with their own background, if they walked into the office and had to, you know what I'm saying? If they had to deal with their own background, they wouldn't hire themselves.
Yeah, that's called they call that critical race theory. If teaching white children about white history is called critical race theory. Because Del Jones had said like 30 years ago, if I had a white child every day, 5 days a week for 8 hours a day, if I was in a position to educate white children, they go home and take out their parents. And he said, I wouldn't have to lie to him to get him to do it. Just tell him the truth. And I've had more than one occasion where I'm just talking about the verified facts of white history, and a white person says, you're anti-white. White people, you tell them their true history, you sound like you talking bad about me. Oh, they want to get you a setup, a proper camera, a proper mic.
I appreciate it, man. Look, hey.
Geechee said
here. It's consistent with who and what I am right now, man. It's the struggle.
Because you're in a bunker. Yeah.
I don't know if you meant that.
Get it out the mud. So man, James is open to whatever support.
I done got mail from you. Yeah, man, run me a few dollars, man. I'll be hooked up. I'll set it up real nice for you. But
I had an older setup, and then my son stole it.
Y'all don't want to hear from me.
We do. You know, I missed you, man. You used to be the moderator supreme. I done lost my moderators.
Bro, look, I work on. You know what? I was working on Fridays. When I was going through my little. You know what I mean? I was working on Friday, so I wasn't able to. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to participate like I should have been. But you know.
Times got hard, but I had a crazy man. Monday, I had a bunch of lunatic people in the comments, man. Bunch of white conservatives, bunch of trolls. It was a hard time Monday. See, everybody's reaching out.
Yeah, I'll be at work, but I'll be man.
It's all good.
Oh man, I be seeing some of it on break. I be wanting to. Because I don't be understanding. I don't be understanding the context of the conversation, so I don't want to just cut people.
Yeah, you too just. You're too good. You are a benevolent authoritarian. You're a benevolent dictator. It's not enough of those. Like Ibrahim Traore. And like Ibrahim Traore, you and Ibrahim, you're the righteous dictators. You know, or like the guy, the authoritarian fascist that runs where is he in El Salvador? He calls himself a gentleman dictator.
No, I'm not a gentleman, man. I don't slap.
I'm just saying, you give everybody a fair shake before you bring down the hammer, before you block or put somebody in timeout. You give them a fair and just opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Before you act as judge, jury, and executioner, you give them a chance. That's what I'm saying. And listen, you don't have to hide that anymore. Apparently, Black people love dictatorships now. We love trickle-down economics. We love dictatorships. All the shit we hate coming from white people, when it's coming from our own people, we love it. Leaders for life, unelected, non-democratic, unaccountable leadership. We love it. So don't, you ain't even got to pretend like you're just and fair. As long as you Black, you got some pro-Black rhetoric without even, it ain't got to have nothing to back it up. No substance, man. Don't you know how the game is played? I'm talking all this trash. I ain't got my microfiber. Anyway.
I was devious enough to, you know what I'm saying, become a preacher, man. You know what I'm saying, to, you know, do the community like that.
We could all get paid, man. One of us, you know.
I don't wish that, man. I don't wish that.
One of us, man. Yeah, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't, man. The ministers, they get the money, they get the women, they get the cars.
Yeah, they got it all, don't they? Tax free.
Yeah, all you got to do is just not have no fucking integrity. Integrity is such a burden, man. It's cost me so much money.
Man, bro, I swear to God, but that's why I'm crawling, man. I got too much integrity, man.
Yeah, it's a burden. I'm sick of it. I'm trying to lose mine.
I don't even know how I show up to work every goddamn day, man. You know what I'm saying? I got
we some marks. We some marks.
But it ain't the job, it's the system, right? It ain't the job, it's the system, right?
Exactly. Oh, can you get your volume up, James? B. Brittany.
Is this loud enough or no?
It's a little louder.
Okay.
She said your low, whispering, breathy voice is distracting her.
Okay. I'm holding the mic up to my mouth now.
Yeah, that's a little better because she said your voice was too hot and breathy and too low and rumbly. She was distracted. She couldn't listen to the message that we're trying to articulate.
Oh man, I wasn't trying to give you the bedroom voice, man. That wasn't the intent.
Yeah, that's what I didn't say it. She just wants to focus on the message. She didn't come here for that. For no big muscly, full bearded man to be breathing deep and huffing and puffing. She wants to hear clear, articulated words. I got you, Brittany.
And that's the goal. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal.
Right. Look at her. She's exhausted. She done passed out. She's dead. You're killing her softly. That means you are killing her softly with your song, with your voice. So man, let's be more professional. Let's come here like we got a job to do. None of this stuff, man.
You said, get your goof ass out of here.
No, she didn't. She said, you're killing me softly. So speak up and enunciate. You don't hear like, let me tell you, the thing about it, bro, our community, our brothers and sisters out here come together at the same time. I'm like, she's like, speak. Stop. James, please. All right, let's see. That's why we need Skip here.
Yeah,
where's Skip at?
Man? What other moderator at, man? We need some.
Where everybody at?
We need a referee. Yeah, man. What up, Skip? What up?
Somebody with some sense.
We're watching.
I don't know, Natalie. We got a new show. We got a brand new show called Grown Black Girls. Yeah, so that was this morning. I watched it, a couple of them. I was editing some snippets from it, man. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. But
I checked it out, man.
I think I know why Skip isn't here because for the first time, I was watching his wife and listening to her speak. And I see he gets all his wisdom and insights from her. So last time I called him a sucker MC because I'm like, okay, I thought you was just being smart and you was just a sharp dude. But now I found out after hearing his wife, I'd be like, oh, okay, now I know where you get it from. He just listened to her and then come on the show and repeat what she said.
Oh, so okay. So you said now since she on the show, he ain't got no room.
Since he's been exposed, right? He exposed. He should have kept her in the back, like God said. A woman's not supposed to be up front. See, that's why you make them rules. You're not supposed to outshine. She's supposed to be a helpmeet, like our women.
Yeah.
We keep our women in the kitchen. Right. Anyway, let's James, see, we don't have a regulator here.
Let's get to the news, man. Let's get to the news,
right.
Man.
Let's get to
spin the globe.
All right, so today I was talking about, and then we can open up for Q&A. So this will be quick. I don't know what's wrong. I gotta get my glasses, man. You don't have to wear glasses.
I need glasses, man. I'm the shit backwards, right? So I'm farsighted. I can't see little words at far distances.
I'm farsighted.
I think that's normal though, damn it.
I don't know. Hey, you put something across around the way, I see it clearly. You bring it close, like this monitor, I can't see nothing. So I can't see things close, but I see things far away.
Man, I was amazed at how far I couldn't see. But this one cat I saw, man, this dude could see little bitty words at 2-3 blocks away.
That's me. I got the eyes of a hawk.
How you do that?
But you bring it close, I'm lost. But anyway, whose side you got, Iran or U.S. and Iran, U.S. invasion, U.S. invasion. Which side are you on?
Team Iran all day, man. Team
Really?
Iran all day, man. We going to the mat, baby. They trying to send troops on the ground, baby. Let's take it to the mat. They're gonna get destroyed.
Here's the thing though. This is my thing. Like, as in most of these conflicts, I support the people, not necessarily the state or the government, because most like governments are like really bad. The last thing you won't ever hear me, singing the praises of an Islamic theocrat or theocracy. But I have to rock with you on this one. If I'm rooting for and I support the victims, because it's, as I said before, it's not a war, it's an invasion. There's no declaration.
Right.
Iran has not done anything to justify the U.S. and Israeli, and by extension, really, several other has done nothing to justify the incursion or brute, violent attack on its territory. But then they have these new terminologies since the war on terror that, they're a sponsor of terrorism. And if that's the case, why is the U.S. military aid to Israel considered a state sponsor of terrorism? Not only that, the number one ally and supporter of the Wahhabi Islam is the United States. And the Wahhabists coming out of Saudi Arabia are the ones that support, from Nigeria to the Sahel states to the Janjaweed militias. All these Islamic terrorists are supported as proxy conflict through Saudi Arabia, the Wahhabists, which are funded, propped up by, and defended by the United States. So if being a state sponsor of terroristic tactics, that doesn't count, going all the way back to El Salvador, the death squads throughout Latin America. The United States has sponsored acts of terrorism and directly carried out terrorism. So if being accused, not convicted, being an accused state sponsor of terrorism, justified incursions into your sovereign territory, then the United States, I'm going to go out on a limb because it would be fun to find someone that could prove me wrong. I'm going to say the United States is the number one sponsor, supporter of terrorism, Islamic terrorism, Christian terrorism, and all theocratic terrorism, Hindu terrorism. There's a big time Hindu atrocities in Southeast Asia. There's the Hindu nationalists and Hindu theocrats committing major atrocities who are partnered with the United States. So I'm going to go out and say that the United States is the world's number one sponsor of terrorism.
I can go for that. I can definitely understand that position. They just sitting back, stirring the pot, trying to gain an advantage.
Right. And
solidify their advantage.
Right. And in some of these conflicts, there's really no one there's the right and the wrong. It's not even about right and wrong. As I learned when I was in college and I was taking courses in criminality and criminal justice and psychology and taking courses in ethics, taking ethics courses. And, my ethics course hit me the most because it was on Thursday morning. I was taking an ethics course at State University of New York. And on Wednesday night, I would go to Manhattan to the Sound Factory because that was the hip hop night at the Sound Factory. So I would go to the Sound Factory, 18, 19 years old. I go to the Sound Factory and be dancing to hip hop. Biggie was and Mobb Deep was really big then. And I'd be dancing all night. And then I'd get on the train, catch the subway from Manhattan back to Brooklyn about 45 minutes to an hour before my class would start. And I used to have locks, long dreadlocks back then. So I would get in the shower and try to wash all that smoke, cigarette smoke smell out of my hair. And I'd run to, and every morning we had to bring in an article from the newspaper or magazine that we found during the week that presented an ethical dilemma. And so I'd be sitting on the 2 train headed to, what was that stop? I don't remember, but taking the 2 train from Eastern Parkway to the stop that took me to downstate. And I'd be looking for an ethical article, and I'd run in there and I just cut any random article throughout the day. And every day, every single day in the newspaper, I'd grab a poster or a magazine, whatever from the stand. I would always find some major corruption or ethical issue in the paper. I wouldn't even have to search because there was so much blatant, unrelenting corruption. And I even once asked a few of my professors throughout my years, I would say, like, you have all these professionals, you're training us to enter into the workforce, into the profession, public or private sectors. And we have to take all these courses that are teaching us about the rules, what's right and what's wrong. And we're supposed to make us sign these papers or take these oaths to receive these certificates to do good. And everybody's teaching good. Everybody wants good, but everything is fucking evil. How do you have all these highly trained, highly educated, well-established, well-positioned people who everybody in the world wants good, but everything comes out fucked up and bad? You know? And that was my undergrad and getting my master's degree. And I'm like, wow, y'all sit here and y'all figure shit out. Y'all know right from wrong. You know what's ethical and unethical. You wrote all these complex laws and reinforce laws. And all this shit you know to be right and wrong. But everything comes out fucked up every single time in every single generation, year after year after year. What's the point in even having an ethics course?
Because they got to know. Just
they know they're doing wrong.
Right, because capital is the opposite of all of that. To make profit, you got to be, evil or underhand. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that you're taking.
It's inherently evil.
Yeah, that you're making it lopsided, purposely, knowingly. You know what I mean? And
Hillary Clinton,
ethics is on the opposite side of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But for all the horrors that when Hillary Clinton was running against Trump in his first run for office, she had stated that capitalism was a great system as long as you didn't let it function. She basically was like, you need to watch it. It's a wonderful system, but the moment you turn your back on it, it'll stab you in the back. But basically what she actually said is you need regulations, you need breaks, checks and balances and oversight. It needs to be regulated. Now, it's a good system, but you can't let it run independent. You can't let it run freely, and you can't let it arrive at its foregone conclusion. And I'm like, then how is it fucking good? That's like, I tell somebody James is a good dude, but don't turn your back on him.
Right.
If he has to go to the bathroom in your house, you better follow him and stand by the door. He's a good dude, though. Right. He's a good dude, but don't let him have your phone number or your address. And watch him. And he's a good dude, but when you hang out with him, keep your pistol on you. Like, it's not a good system. That shit is always wicked and horrible. But that's the weird thing where I think it was, and I'm not probably using this right, but this, fractured psyche. Like, for us to function in this world, we have to be fractured. So we're watching 2 compromised regimes. We're watching, and I'm just going to say it, a theocratic, irrational government in Iran being attacked by a fascist government in the US and another fascist theocracy in Israel are attacking a autocratic, theocratic nation. So all these bad things are going at each other, and we have to pick between these bad things, which bad thing we support. And it's not even the lesser evil, it's the justified evil or the lawful evil, and the unjustified evil or the unlawful evil. Because people get mad at me for criticizing North Korea, if I say anything bad about China, even if I talk about how Cuba, up to this day, has had a long history of anti-Black racism and discrimination against Black Cubans. Cubans didn't become racist when they moved to South Florida. They came here racist. And all the racist Cubans didn't make it out. All the racist Cubans were not rich enough or well-connected enough. So when you come under attack, because I'm an oppressed man, you're an oppressed man. But nobody would say if we were out here slanging rocks or up to no good, you're like, well, you can't criticize this brother. He's oppressed. People tend to see it when it's on that scale. But when you expand it out between nation states or entire cultures or societies, and if you offer any level of resistance to the main empire, the dominant evil, then the progressives or the left like to call you out for that. I'm just checking something. What are you talking about? BB is gone.
Yeah,
somebody said something. People
report though that he got killed in a something, but I haven't seen no confirmation about that yet. But anyway. Yeah, well, man, right. Do we got to hold the same principle for both sides?
Professor James Abraham believes real well. I think Professor James is a goddamn idiot. I've listened, people been recommending this guy to me, and he sounds like an imbecile. I'm sorry to say. I know everybody likes him, but I'm going to go on the record and say, y'all send me these people.
Hey, was that the guy that's supposed to be? Was that the guy that?
Yeah, he predicted that Trump would win the election, and he predicted that Trump would win the election, and he predicted that the war would escalate, or that the U.S. would go to war with Iran. And then he says a whole bunch of dumb shit before that and a whole bunch of dumb shit after that. Everything he says about communism and the Bolshevik Revolution, most of his historical assertions are way off the mark. He sounds like an imbecile. He kind of seems like he has libertarian leanings, but he just, every time I hear anything aside from that 2024 when he said Trump is going to win and he will attack Iran, everything I hear beyond that, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And people kept saying, hey, you heard of Jang? This Jang got his Jang? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And I went to listen to him, and I'm like, this is what y'all think is so deep? It's like that time everybody was like, Kevin Samuels. This is back. Remember when I was at Q4 at the radio station? And people are like, go listen to Professor Jang. And one of the first things I heard that Jang say was, oh, the communists and the capitalists support each other. They are good friends. Communists and they are good friends. And saying that the capitalists financed the communist revolution, and that the communist revolution was fought, and that he said that the peasants of Tsarist Russia all loved the Tsar. They all loved the Tsar, and that the communists were giving money by the capitalist in order to finance 200,000 mercenary fighters from other parts of the world to come into Russia and fight. I'm just like, the fuck? What? So That's the first thing I heard from him. And I'm like, what? So I don't know where y'all got this dude from. And he made a good guess. And he made a couple of good guesses. I mean, my wife predicted Trump would win. She predicted both times he won. I remember when he was running against Hillary, and I'm like, well, it's up in the air. She's like, it's not up in the air. I'm like, wait till the West Coast polls. She predicted Trump would win. She predicted Trump would lose. She predicted Trump would win again. I mean, and she didn't even predict it. She just followed the numbers and followed the stats and followed the polls. It's not that impressive.
I've been seeing a lot of Chinese pundits lately, man. Just kind of responding to this American notion of exceptionalism and standard of living, and just some of them even speaking on their politics, and it's pretty interesting, pretty informative too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of wise voices. I read a lot of the English translations of newspapers coming out of the Middle East and Asia, and there's some good insights. In most parts of the world, the media hasn't been consolidated and corporatized, and it doesn't operate off of a purely for-profit commercial basis. So most media outside the United States is pretty good. But, you get these people who the algorithm favors. The algorithm favors bullshit. Yeah. Because the billionaires that control that have a monopoly control over the media want the masses to be ill-informed.
Yeah, I think that chain got pop up because if you following the left, if you're doing mostly left politics or revolutionary radical stuff, he's gonna pop up because he's speaking. It sounds like when he said that Iran was going to win, I think people want to hear that.
Right. Yeah, and people think taken down. Right, and he's predicting that. I don't know. It's
I
like
want to see the bully get taken down. I want to see the bully get kicked in the teeth. You know what I mean?
But the problem is for
Iran, but Iran is just the opponent that's in the ring right now.
But here it is. It's not just Iran. Russia is in the mix. China is in the mix. There are several key players. That India and Iran have just negotiated because it wants to bring some of its tankers through the Straits of Hormuz. So now Iran is being selective is basically negotiating with other nations about which nations can receive versus which nations it will target. So it is a much more multifaceted conflict than I think Trump and the Netanyahu predicted.
Yeah,
that's just what I think.
I think they underestimated. Them for sure.
Yeah, well, I think that the estimation was accurate. It was ignored. It's worse than underestimating. I think the Pentagon, the CIA, and I don't think anybody in his inner circle will ever tell this demented pedophile the truth. But Trump has access to good information, and he ignored it or went against it. There are reports that some people who are going off the record saying that Trump's generals warned him about it and tried to dissuade him. But if you know anything, there's a documentary that I think everybody should take a look at by this woman named Leni Riefenstahl called Triumph of the Will. It's called Triumph of the Will. It's an old black and white film. And basically, white folks like to tell on themselves, right? White people, fascist, let me not say white people. I apologize to white people because I haven't read and interacted with a lot of white people, but Western culture and particularly right-wing and fascist believe that they can will things into existence. They believe that they can will things into existence. They have power, and therefore they can not just define reality, but they can dictate reality. So if you go and tell a demented pedophilic fascist, you should not take this course of action because these are the predictable consequences, they will definitely tell you, absolutely not. God is on my side. I'm smarter. I'm playing 3D chess, all the propaganda. So it's very dangerous, not just for the person who has this depth of delusion or psychopathic personality, it's dangerous for the people who are vulnerable to them. And at this point, since the psychopaths have nukes, they're a threat to all existence on Earth.
Without question.
So we're in a precarious position. Have you been seeing all the black people out here talking about we going to war or we're at war? And all the black people who basically are aligning with the government because, you know, in a time of conflict, everybody has to get in line. It's our nation.
I know they exist. I haven't seen any on my feed, but to be honest, I haven't been as engaged, just because of the nature of my schedule. But I'm sure they exist. And yeah, before I started working, yeah, I've seen a lot of raccoons, you know what I mean, parading around, talking that bullshit, man.
No, and being in the United States all my life, I've been around for hundreds of conflicts. The United States, I say this all the time, for every bombing, every invasion, every assassination, every embargo that we know about, there are literally dozens that we don't know about. The CIA has a black budget, and every now and then there'll be a whistleblower. So there are ongoing perpetual conflicts. And I say this with full confidence. By the time the United States is reporting on a war, saying, hey, we're attacking or we're bombing this country, they've been attacking the country for at least 5 years. If they say the war starts today, that means the war started 5 years ago. Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Yemen. I mean, they even bombed Nigeria of all freaking places. And Nigerians fucking love Trump.
Yeah, that was crazy. After he's supposedly been trying to save them from Muslims or Islam, whatever. This is crazy, man. Yeah. After he just got through trying to save them, then he bombed them.
Right. So, wow. Yeah, and so it's pretty common that black people, even conscious black people, even malcontent black people, tend to rally around the flag in times of crisis. This is still our country, and now we going around calling ourselves foundational to this country. They call themselves foundational to this country. So it is a burden that we have to deal with, that a lot of black people, and this is funny as well. Dr. Bobby Wright in his research had revealed that whenever they do assessments on the black community about black people's loyalty to the United States, they consistently find that black people are consistently the most loyal demographic to the United States. The black population have consistently been the most loyal and consistently loyal population
but yet
in the United States.
But yet, I mean,
Of course.
not that I wouldn't appreciate the fact that they saw us as an enemy, but I'm saying like when you look at them numbers and then they look at us like we the enemy, when man, this shit is just so it's just all mixed up, man. Like, right, they should fear us. They should be side-eyed us like, yeah, these motherfuckers up to something. You know what I mean? And you know, we should be up to something.
That's so true. I mean? Gosh.
We should 100. Be up to something.
But the reverse is true. If your nation looks at you with suspicion, in most people, it provokes them to work harder to prove themselves. So Black people push harder. I mean, we literally fought to enlist. You know, while the Irish people literally went on their draft riots. When the Irish immigrants were coming here during the Civil War, they burnt down cities because they were saying, well, this country is giving you citizenship. So you should be willing to fight when the government calls on you. And the Irish, while the Irish were literally having draft riots, slaughtering Black people in their riots, Black people were fighting and begging. Frederick Douglass was begging Abraham Lincoln to let us fight. So as other populations in this country have refused to fight or resented being called up to fight for the nation, Black people have consistently marched, begged, and then when they let us in the military, they say, well, you can be a cook. You can load ammunitions. You know, you can be a support staff. You can hold the flag or play the drum. So first we had to fight to enlist, and then they relegated us to support. And then we had to fight to get on the front lines. Let us get in the jet, Harlem Hellfighters. We want to get in the jet. We had to fight the country to fight for the country.
Right.
So Black people, and in our history as it is taught to us in this country, we are precarious. Our position is precarious. So we have to fight to fight. And the moment we show any level of disloyalty, we will lose or be deemed unworthy of the concessions and allotments we've been given, from our civil rights to our fantasy of receiving reparations. I'm gonna get in trouble for that, but reparations has been distorted, but I'll come back to that if I have to. So we fight to fight for the country, and we have an innate insecurity in this country, showing that if we show anything less than consistent loyalty to America, we will justifiably be denied. That's why you ever heard that's why we ain't got nothing. Black people doing this. That's why they don't like us. That's why we ain't got nothing. And that's a low racial esteem. Like, our rights, our humanity, our status as citizens is rested upon us proving to the most savage, bloodthirsty people that we are worthy of what they have given us. And we will remain worthy into the future by conducting ourselves properly, from fighting in their wars to pulling up our pants and not wearing bonnets to the grocery store. It's really a sick thing that we get so embroiled. So be understanding that even when Black people don't agree with the war, by and large, once the war is the invasion, the war crimes. Let me not just say war. It's not a war. Even if we don't agree with the war crimes or the invasions, even some of the most conscious and militant people will eventually fall in line as the conflict begins to escalate. Even during World War II, you read Carlos Cooks. Carlos Cooks was like, shit, Hitler's killing. Like, Carlos Cook was like, Great Britain been slaughtering people in India, slaughtering people in Great Britain, been slaughtering Africans, been slaughtering in Native America, and slaughtering in the New World. Spain, Portugal, the Italians, all these people been slaughtering each other. And now The Europeans are slaughtering each other. Finally, all of the aggression and bloodlust that they've exhibited across Asia, Africa, and North and South America is now being turned in on itself. And he said, black people, we should celebrate it. Let them take each other out. Why the hell would I support FDR over Hitler, over who's the British bull? I always forget his name.
Churchill.
Yes, Churchill. Why do I always forget his name? Churchill was a journalist. Before he got into politics, he was a journalist. And he would write articles celebrating the slaughter of South Africans and the displacement and the theft of the territory of Tanzania. He would say that it is a waste of resources to feed starving Indians in India. Churchill I can't remember Churchill's name because whenever I hear Churchill, I think of War Churchill, the historian, the man who wrote the COINTELPRO papers, co-wrote the COINTELPRO papers. So every time I think Churchill, I'm like, no, Churchill is a good guy. So anyway.
I don't see how other people can look at another human being and say, you don't deserve to eat.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, let them starve. We got to feed the empire. So anyway, World War II was genociders versus genociders. And going into World War II, that's at the height of lynching in America. And black people, because this is after World War I, World War I veterans would come back home in their uniforms. And the white trash would see the Africans in their uniform walking down the streets and lynch black men in their uniform. And black men did not get their war bonus. They didn't get their payouts. They were sent to the front lines to fight to free Europe and came home to Jim Crow and lynchings. And then another imperial war kicked off. And then we were literally fighting and petitioning the government to let us fight for the country again. So it does pain me. I don't know anybody personal. I do think I live in a bubble because my real life and my internet life don't line up. You know, when I'm in the streets, I'm out and about, I'm interacting with brothers like you. You know, here in Chicago, I'm around smart, engaged black people. When I travel all over the country and abroad, I'm around brilliant black people. Yes, the pretending War Churchill. That's between him and the natives. That's between him and Cherokee Nation. What did he say? No, he said he's Sioux or Lakota. That's between him and Lakota. I'm saying War Churchill's research is on point. And when he came out with that little Eichmann's comment, I still support him. What he said was one point. When he said on 9/11, a bunch of little Eichmanns. So yes, that one. And if you got beef with him and his indigenous credentials, I can't speak to that, but I can speak to his academic credentials. And that his research and his historical assessment is on point. And that's between him and those folk. He wasn't pretending to be black. And so I'm out. And he looked native to me. Do you think is Ward Churchill native?
And I don't know, Winston or Ward? Which one are we talking about now?
Ward. He got the long hair.
Ain't that dude the actor?
He looked indigenous to me. Huh?
Ain't that dude the actor or something?
No, he's a professor. Well, he was a professor. They fired him because he called. They fired him. Oh, now we're gonna get off course, but who cares? They fired Ward Churchill because he said that he made a comment about the Native Americans. He made a comment about the Native American. He made a comment about after 9/11 that offended a lot of people. He told a harsh truth at a time where nobody was supposed to tell the truth.
Oh.
Don't he look native? Don't he look indigenous to you?
He look bad.
And why he gotta prove? Why people gotta prove? I ain't never heard a white man have to prove he's white.
He look biracial.
Hey, like I said, y'all done already took Noam Chomsky from me. I'm not gonna let y'all take Ward from me. I'm calling by his first name like I know him. I'm not gonna let y'all take Ward from me. Stop it.
I don't even know who that cat is.
Hey, he look as an indigenous, and you know, like Cherokee Nation has been selling indigenousness. They you can literally buy indigenousness.
You can buy indigenous heritage now. You can buy
Yes, yeah, you got enough money. You can go to the official Cherokee Nation and put in an application, pay the fee, and they will bestow upon you official status as an indigenous member of Native. Just like Trump can sell you and you can be American. You can buy, he said the Trump gold card Nicki Minaj thought she got for free. You can literally buy, you can buy your way into America. You can buy your way into Cherokee Nation. Some of the Native Americans, their leadership is very corrupt and money hungry, and they will sell you. So there's a lot of white people walking around here with indigenous Native American cards.
Hey Joe, ain't nobody took me up a offer yet. I put my citizenship up for sale when Trump became president. Goddamn it, ain't nobody took me up on my offer, and I even took a $500,000 off.
But it's a black citizen. You got to get a white citizenship. Who wants to be a black citizen of America? No, I ride this white thing out. And I grew up on the Missouri-Kansas border. I grew up like 3 miles from the Missouri-Kansas border. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from Iowa and Oklahoma. I've interacted with a lot of indigenous people from various, mostly Lakota people from the Lakota First Nations. And I mean, in terms of skin tone and facial features, it was pretty wide range. They were pretty wide ranging. But I don't know.
Man, look, man. I'm so sick of that conversation now.
But he ain't got to prove nothing to me. He said he Indian. I take his word for it, and I move on. But anyway, what was he talking about?
I think you was trying to tell me that I shouldn't be taking sides in this war, but you know.
I was discussing that black people are taking sides by and large. Black people are like, I'm an American, and their American citizenship tends to trump most other things. And I think that, and really it's what the biggest tragedy, because I agree with you. Iran is justified. The other side, the enemies of Iran in this unjust criminal act are wrong. They don't deserve to win. And everybody involved in orchestrating this invasion should be brought up on a multitude of charges. Trump violated the Constitution. Trump should be impeached and tried. Netanyahu is already an international war criminal. There are dozens of countries that if he landed on their territory, he would be arrested and taken into custody. So he's already a war criminal.
I just saw that, like 5 more countries. I think some of his own allies said if he land there, they was gonna arrest him or something. Yeah,
so he's already getting his. I mean, he at least there's a potential he could get his comeuppance, but he's a coward. He ain't going nowhere. Some of the people that orchestrate.
So what does that say though? When 5 of the people, or I don't know how, handful of allies that you had turn their back on you. It sounds like your foundation is cracking. Sound like your support.
Maybe. Sometimes you took it too far, but there, as Dr. Clark said, there are no permanent allies. There's only permanent interest.
Okay.
So, and white folks, I have to say, Europe, the people who I call themselves Europe. The people who call themselves, they've been in perpetual war for 14, 15, 1600 years, perpetual warfare. And they go to war. I mean, the UK, one of US top allies, has gone to war with the United States, burned down the US Capitol. So they'll slaughter each other and then be right back in bed with each other the next day. That's just their culture. They don't hold grudges like that.
Against themselves.
I mean, they do hold grudges. They stab each other in the back. So they do hold grudges, but I don't think we really understand it, because we talk about we're not unified. So we have African people have this mythology that white people have all the power and wealth that they have because they demonstrate a level of unity. And we think that their power is rooted in unity because our culture and our people, we understand that our power and our progress is rooted in our unity. We can't really comprehend a people being at perpetual war with each other, their own brothers and sisters, while also simultaneously waging perpetual war against the other. So you got war within and war without, and it's constant bloodshed and constant maneuvering, constant manipulation, subversion, constant surveilling and spying on each other, and constant backstabbing. And we are under the impression that how you get rich doing that, because when we believe that if we fight each other, then we're going to be poor. And if we fight each other, we won't come together, so we'll never get free. And so we have been so integrated or been taught that we are them and they are us, to the extent that we think they got shit the way they didn't get it, and we got to get shit a different way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah,
I understand it. I understand what you said totally. Yeah, I just don't understand why we feel like we got to be like them. I mean, I do, but I mean, I don't buy into. Oh my God, man! Like, no. It's like black capitalism. Like, okay, look, like what you gonna get out of that, bro? Like, you gonna get.
Oh yeah, I was just. Have you heard of the Wall Street Trapper?
Yeah, I heard of that dude. He had hit me on my DM, man, talking some bullshit a couple years ago.
You send them some money?
I told him to go somewhere with that bullshit, man.
Well, I was listening to a conversation between the guy from Earn Your Leisure and the Wall Street Trapper. We're talking about the war and the oil cost and investment opportunities. And these dudes really, who claim to be pro-capitalist, really do not understand the symbiotic relationship between conquest and capitalism. You talk to black people, and wealth is all about investment, savings, earning, delayed gratification, whereas Europeans understand wealth is all about conquest.
Stealing, yes.
Take. About power and conquest. And we look at the way white people manage wealth. They manage their wealth through stock market investment, various holdings and capital and sovereign wealth funds, venture capitalism. We look at how they manage their wealth, but we completely ignore how they obtain wealth. We confuse wealth management with wealth obtaining. So that's why you listen to a lot of these black gurus. But some black people are hip. Some black people get to a certain level, that Michael Jordan and Jay-Z level of personal wealth, and they start, dealing with Raytheon. They start buying stock in Raytheon, private prison, and they start putting their money in conquest, in genocide, resource extraction, raw mineral extraction, futures. Now people are buying up water futures. So there is about to be severe fresh water scarcity across the globe, with saltwater inundation, ocean levels rising, ongoing global warming. And instead of taking steps to prevent that or protect people and provide for people, there are people who are betting on fresh water, potable water price going beyond where a barrel of fresh water will cost more than a barrel of crude oil. There are people understanding that the polar ice caps are melting, and all of the catastrophe that will come as a result of the polar ice caps melting. And there are people trying to secure mining and extraction rights because there's a shit ton of carbon-based resources frozen under miles of ice that will become available in a few decades. And then motherfuckers are like, yes, we're going to rape this planet and destroy this planet's ecosystem for profit. So we're also going to have SpaceX and private rocket companies where so that we can colonize the moon and Mars and start the whole cycle up again. But black people out here talking about buying the right stock, puts and options. And black people are thinking about buying the right stock. And so you can get enough money to be a high value man and get a high value woman to send your children off to the proper, private schools, maybe sitting at desks across from Blue Ivy or Northwest. So black people don't understand what real power and money is. We just want to be able to earn enough to buy whatever our oppressor will allow us to buy. Anyway, I don't even know if that's on top.
Sad, man. That's sad events, man. How we just don't see. But I don't think we engaged enough. We just not engaged in these type of conversations in politics enough. Or I think we think that right, we can outpope the Pope. We can outmoney the money machine. I mean, just so much stuff that I used to see, like we running around, we making it rain. Just making videos with money, and we ain't got no goddamn money, man.
Right. And even, but the thing is, even if we had money, because, just a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, I went to this political event. I was in a room with dozens of black millionaires. I was, standing shoulder to shoulder with them. And they have no more power than you or I, broke brothers. They have a higher consumption capacity. And that's the stratification, low to high consumption capacity. But consumption capacity is not power. So them brothers in there had nicer shoes, a nicer watch, and pulled up in a nicer car than I did. But beyond that, they're just as vulnerable as me. As soon as, Trump or any of these other fascists make the decision back in chains, they have just as much capacity to resist. I talk about this all the time. There's a movie, Schindler's List, right? And they're going up and taking the Jews out of their homes and putting them in cattle cars. And the poor Jews from the street were marched out first. Then they went up into the high rises and the mansions. And the Jewish men and women had like gold bars sewed into the lining of their trench coats and fur coats. And the Jews were carrying all this fine silver and all these precious metals and all these bonds and stocks and crates of money. And some of the wealthy Jews had their servants, their maids and butlers carrying their stuff to the cattle cars. And the Nazis were letting them carry it because it saved them the effort of going in and collect it themselves. So you got a bunch of valuables in your home. And I'm like, yo, you got to come up out your homes, James. You got to get up out of here now. I'm burning your house down. And so you go in your house and gather up everything that's of value to you and run out your house. Then you save me the effort of having to go find out what's valuable in there. And then when they get them to the trains, they took off their furs. They ripped off, they took off their jewelries, they took all their silver, they took their stocks, their bonds, and then they went in their mouths and ripped out the gold teeth right there with pliers, ripping out their gold teeth.
Damn.
And many of the wealthy Jews, Hitler, when he first came out, Hitler said his first target were the infirm, the disabled people and the neurodivergent people, saying these people contribute nothing to society. They weaken our societies. The eugenics thing. And the Jewish elites were like, yeah. And then his second target were the communists. And many of the wealthy Jews were like, yeah, get the communists out of here. They want to take my property. They want to make my property community. But when it came their turn, and many wealthy black people are in the just as vulnerable as, in fact, many, I don't know if you've ever like interacted or had to work with wealthy blacks. Wealthy blacks are more delicate. They're more skittish and afraid than poor black people. Because they got more to lose. It's precarious. Right. And so this over the last like 5 prosperity ministry that turned into prosperity politics and reparations, everybody looking at reparations as an economic come up as opposed to a component of liberation. You know, I'm like, where in history have the wealthy members of a conquered people ever fared well? And where in history have the wealthy members of a conquered people ever mounted a sustained opposition to a conqueror? Because the wealthy people will either cooperate with the enemy to preserve their wealth, or they'll be the first to be taken out. You know, if you're going to break into somebody's home, you're not going to run into the kids' room and snatch a bunch of Ninja Turtles and shit. You're going to go in the parents' room because that's where the guns and the jewelry and all the valuable shit is, in the best room, but whatever. And this is one thing I want to say, and then we'll open it up for the last bit of the show. What concerns me most in all these conflicts is you have the Iranian side, the US side, you have all these sides. African people, we've never established a side. In all these conflicts, the so-called war on terror, which is a war with terror, World War I, World War II, the Cold War, US and communism. In most of these conflicts, we pick a side of existing people instead of defining our own terms and drawing our own independent line in the sand. And that goes for African nations or large African populations from Brazil to the US to Central and South America, other regions that have significant black populations. We always fail to say, this is our interest. This is our position. This is our desired outcome that we're going to organize and fight to bring about. So we end up picking a side between a colonizer versus a colonizer, an enslaver versus an enslaver, an authoritarian versus an authoritarian, a dictatorship versus a dictatorship. We just pick a side between these existing entities and that don't really, none of them have no love for us. Instead of not picking our own side, but we fail to establish our own side and sustain our own side. So when they talk about going to war, nobody in any of these conflicts, they might say, well, if we attack this other nation, what's Russia going to do? What's China going to do? What's North Korea going to do? What's Japan going to do? What's the UK? What is the EU or NATO going to do? What's the US going to do? Nobody ever asks, what are the Africans going to do? Whether it's an individual African nation or a large population of African people within another nation, like in the United States, nobody concerns themselves with how we going to carry it, because they know we're just going to look at one side or the other and pick the side we think best can preserve what little bit we got under this bullshit nation. And that's the real problem. And the side, it ain't about establishing your side in the conflict or during the conflict. It's about establishing your side during peacetime and holding to it through conflict and peace. That's my final word on it.
Hey, right. We should be in constant strategic talks. You know what I'm saying? Without these conflicts, but definitely when these conflicts come about, we have to see what
Right,
we
but
what advantages can we gain for sure.
right, but when you look at it, the only thing that our so-called leaders can do is tell the black masses which non-black power structure or which non-black entity is best to align ourselves with. How do we get up in this capitalist system and carry the favor of the capitalist or the cult leaders? How do we carry the blessings of this God, this foreign God, this alien God that has sanctioned our enslavement and our colonization? So how do we get up under this system for relief and get up under this foreign alien God for salvation? For being what savior do we? But I mean, this should be highlighted in this time. But I shared the link. If y'all want to come live, if you have a question, a comment, or criticism, you can post it. Huh?
That I agree. We too mystical with this shit too. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's
shit, man. Like
we didn't gave up there's only been one nation in the history of the nuclear age that has given up its nukes, that was formerly a nuclear power and decided to surrender its nukes. And that's South Africa. One of his first acts as head of state, Nelly the sellout Mandela surrendered the nuke. So South Africa goes down in the history book as not just the first, but the only nation to denuclearize in the history of the modern nation state, in the history of the nuclear age. This is absurd. And it's like you said, zero military and zero military threat, because the threat of the military of Africa is organized towards suppressing Africans, not defending Africa, suppressing African uprisings to this day. Can you explain why the right is anti-vaccine, anti-science? Because they are pro-religion. Triumph of the will. Their belief in their faith outweighs evidence and facts. And they don't gain anything. The right is stupid. So they don't understand their own interests. So, and it's an authoritarian group. So in an authoritarian group, they think that what's good for the leader, what's good for the state is good for them. So I guess they do gain in that point where they have power and harm others. But they're anti-vaccine and they're anti-science because science is articulating things that contradict their belief system, their faith, their belief in white superiority, their belief in not just in God, but a white God, white Jesus coming to save the white world, and their belief in male supremacy and things like that. So science is not trusted because science contradicts and they also believe that black people are inferior. They believe that black people and immigrants are criminal population. They believe that they protect women and children when the science and the evidence demonstrates that they are the predatory population, the conservative, the right wing, and the theocrats are prey on children to a higher percentage than any other demographic. So all those things. So they just don't like science. I mean, they like some science. They like the science of weapons. They love the drones and the bombs. And so they like science of conquest, the science of destruction, the science of warfare. They reject the science that invalidates their supernatural beliefs and their supremacist beliefs. And their supernatural beliefs also believe in the power of God to heal and the perfection of the human creation. God created us in his image. And so I have an immune system. So if I am born as God's perfect uncontaminated creation. Why do I need to interfere with this holy thing? Didn't Ukraine? I'm not sure what they talking.
I still just don't get how people can actually believe in something like that. So that's supposed to be that powerful and all knowing, and you have to find them in the dark. like you got to find them so all by yourself. Like, man, come on, man, with that bullshit, man.
Well, you don't have to look. You can just abracadabra. He's here. The Lord is with me. I just had a young black lady that I follow. She makes like comedy sketches, really smart and witty young lady. And she has recently accepted Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior. And she came online and said that the God told her to put a message out about masturbation and the wickedness and evils of masturbation and how it will invite demons into your life. So God ain't said nothing to her. She just,
If God is speaking, goddamn it, how come we can't hear?
I tell God, if God could give me the lottery numbers, if God helped me hit the numbers, he's got a disciple. I'd be a pork chop people. I don't need, God don't have to split no Red Sea. He ain't got to make it rain frogs. He ain't got to take down Trump's firstborn. I am down to Pharaoh. Listen, all God got to do is give me the pick six. I wake up one morning and God's like, my son, write these numbers down and head to the local gas station right now. And them numbers hit. I'm like, hey, y'all, I was wrong as hell. This guy shit is real as fuck. Let's do it. I asked for so little.
Yeah, that's a very simple ask right there.
Mm-hmm. Or one other request, God, if you could put it on the hearts of these computer nerds to create a Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds 2. I used to love Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. Like, I was playing that game when my first son was born. And me and my wife, we used to be out in the streets partying and kicking it. And so when my son was born, for the first time in my life, I had to go to work and come straight home and go to work because she would be home with the baby all day and all night. So I would come straight home from work and tend to the child to give her a break. So when he was kind of chilling, I just got into playing Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. So I have a fondness for that game because it reminds me of like the earliest stages of my little family. And then they never came out with a part 2. They just came out with that one game, some mods, and that was the end of it. So, Lord, if you hear me, if you want to win one more little raggedy soul to your holy army, put it on their hearts. Give me the numbers. Give me the pick 6. I ain't even asking for the mega lottery or had to have put it on some programmer's heart to come out with a Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds 2. What's it going to take for you to become a believer?
I will have to live forever, man. He gonna have to grant me the eternity, life of eternal life.
Oh my God, that's horrible. Living forever is a horrible.
You want to give up all the good stuff you got?
Not before it's time, but yeah, I don't want to be here forever. Gross, huh? Are you going? Do you plan to age forever? Are you going to age forever?
I can stay 50. I can stay 54 forever, man.
50, not 25. You pick 50. Oh, you. Yeah, you all ripped at 50. So yeah, whatever, dog. Not me, man. I am. When my time comes, I'm more than willing. I don't want to live forever. That seems absurd.
Man, I don't look, man. I love my. I don't want to see my people leave.
You want everybody to be immortal now. Don't put that on me. Don't pray to your God to make me immortal. I don't need no immortality. That's crazy.
How you? I done got used to life. You know what I mean?
So have I. I love life. I love life. That's why I'm a vegan. I took my multivitamins and my tinctures and my trace minerals, and I walk, I exercise. I love life. I'm doing everything I can to sustain my health and extend my life, but not forever.
I don't want to give it up. Huh? I don't want to give it up, man. I don't want to give it up. I want to see this country get its upcomings. get this up and comment to however you say that. I want to see. I
Come
want
up
to see
and
all that, man. I want to see the change.
then you need to get. There's a white man that's working on living forever.
That little pale motherfucker. That little
Yeah,
pale.
yeah.
He look like.
Would you have your consciousness transferred into a machine? Would you have your consciousness transferred into a machine?
No, man. I know it's over with, man. I'm just saying. Like, I know. No.
I think. Listen. I think the cycle of life and death is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I don't want to interfere with it. I think that we should, as human beings, with all our tech and shit, should strive to live as ecologically and symbiotically with the natural world as possible. Man. But that's me.
Yeah,
I'm a Scorpio.
I got so many people that I know, man, joining the upper room right now. Like at least about 10 people I know that then died over the past since the beginning of the new year, man. Everybody's just leaving up out of here left and right.
I don't think that dying is a tragedy. I think that not fully living is the real tragedy. I think
I think that's the consolation. I think you do that because you don't have a choice at this point. You here. I didn't ask to be here, so you know what I mean. I got to do with.
Well, if you want eternal life, you better go and go to the tabernacle and do the chicken dance, or take your behind to the mosque and bump your head on the floor. Stop eating during Lent or Ramadan or something. You ain't out here being atheistic. You guaranteed no. You're gonna be in oblivion with me, looking at me in oblivion. If you want an eternal afterlife, you better make some different choices, because the path you on ain't the way to get there. At least that's what I heard.
Look, I know it's over with. I'm just saying. If I could be granted a wish, though, that'll be it.
Yeah, when my time comes.
Eternal life.
And listen, another 20, 30, 40 years from now, when my time do come, don't expect no conversion. Don't nobody I'm just following Bro Diallo for the next 40 years and watch when he be like, oh, Lord, take me to your bosom. That ain't going to happen. Indignant. Even if the rapture came, I ain't going to play like that. But you got us way. Menticide, I do believe, is reversible. And I think one of the main things that can reverse it is having different incentives. The man who gave us the analysis and the term menticide said that behavior is created and maintained by its consequences. So if we reorient our community and culture towards incentivizing critical thinking and liberatory actions and unity, I think we will prevent people from going down the path of menticide and bring at least a significant number of people back from menticide. We need to rearrange and transform Black culture, Black communities' incentive structure. And I think that is the fastest way to do away with menticide, or to reverse menticide. I do think it's reversible.
So how early will we start that? In like elementary school, out the
I've been trying it. I've been doing it since I was 15, but it's nobody wanna do it my way.
Could you handle those lessons before 15, or 15 was just the age that you came about?
14 was the first time I went out of my house to engage in some activism, voter registration, protest type shit. I was 14 when I kind of became active organizer from middle school. So, I've been in the movement.
You get all those lessons in school, but you don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? You just figured how like when they teaching you and you reading, you just figure all that stuff is in the past, the way you get taught, and that it's not an ongoing thing. You know what I mean? Like all these struggles is really, I mean, now as we look at it today, these things are ongoing. You know what
I mean? That wasn't my experience.
Shit is over with.
That wasn't my experience. And when I went to public school, shout out to Knott's Elementary and D.A. Holmes Elementary and Southeast Junior High. I mean, I think my teachers, I went to all Black schools in all Black neighborhoods, and throughout from kindergarten up to 8th grade, I had 2 white teachers. And those two white teachers I had at the exact same time, because in the 5th grade, I was put in special ed. So they sent me to the room with the carpet, and I was in special ed, and they had two white teachers in that classroom. So those are the only white teachers I ever had. And then I tested out of special ed, and they put me back with the normal kids in the 6th grade. And those teachers, they would tie our lessons in with the real world. And this was like not just a public school, a public all black elementary school, but a public all black elementary schools and middle schools in the poor black neighborhoods. But the education, I think, man, I wish my sons had gotten the quality of education at that stage that I did.
Well, like I say, man, I went to the same school, elementary school and high school and community college that Fred Hampton went to, and not a peep of his struggle. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and we had Black History events every year in February. Not one mention of dude. Not much mention of Malcolm X. It's just a regular run of the mill.
Oh, that's true. I was taught about Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King. I didn't learn about Fred Hampton until I started reading and studying independently, Kwame Ture, many of the more radicals. But yeah, we were taught about Jesse Jackson and Booker T. Washington.
And so that was my point about us being kind of taught this liberalism. I guess what I'm really, getting at. Like we've been taught that, like how to be liberals and not revolutionaries or radicals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But I think liberalism is a good foundation. I think that liberalism is a good foundation, though. I'm not as hard or anti-liberal as most people on the left.
Well, I know you can't start that revolution, but but I'm still saying, like, there was not even a plan, like a chart, like, okay, we here, this is where we trying to get to. It's like, we here, this is where we want to stay because this is what we've achieved and this is what we fought for. But there's nothing.
But most black people aren't revolutionaries. And if a black revolution kicked off tomorrow, and everybody is thinking, if the few of us who are conscious black revolutionaries did just say, hey, let's elevate to the next stage of the struggle and started an insurgency, the majority of black people would ally with the whites to take us down. So we couldn't expect that.
Well, but okay, not right, because I don't think whatever it is that we're going to achieve is going to start with violence, right? I mean, physical violence, like,
because there's no violence right now.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, okay, if you look at, and I know you hate this comparison, but if you look at what China has did over the 20 years, they didn't necessarily strike a blow against anyone. They went internal, right? They educated themselves. They brought themselves out of poverty through whatever means that they did, and not necessarily have to strike out against anyone else outside their own country or outside their own.
I don't agree with that. The Chinese were striking several blows. Remember, even before the Europeans colonized and invaded them, Japan had colonized and taken their territory. The Chinese was fighting external and internal enemies. And many of the internal enemies, the nationalists who were fighting against the communists, were supported, financed, and armed by the Brits. So it was simultaneously internal and external.
Okay.
I mean, hell, China fought a war with Russia. I mean, like they've been fighting. But the thing about China is that they have like 5,000 years of continuous history. So they were always very clear whether they were a free and independent nation or whether they were a colonized people. You know, that's why people they never really embraced or adopted the alien culture or even the alien concept of reality. You know, it's always been Confucianism and going back to the dynasties. It's always been sinocentrism. They've never departed from a sinocentric worldview. So, as Amos Wilson said,
Well, no, I'm just saying. Okay, you said that they started a war with Russia, or they went to war.
They've had conflicts, ongoing conflicts with Russia. That's why the thing you say, oh, yeah, allies fight and go to war and engage in conflicts all the time.
But okay, so what was that for? Because I'm just meaning in one aspect of turning their own society around, as you know, like they didn't necessarily have to go out and fight racism, and you know their struggle wasn't the same as ours, like what we're trying to do here.
It's not the same as ours, but they did have to fight racism. Anti-Chinese and anti-Asian racism is deep as hell. You ever seen those old Disney cartoons? You ever seen that movie Breakfast at Tiffany's? There was an old saying in the United States you'd hear all the time, all the way up to like the 70s, called "You don't stand a Chinaman's chance." Now you come to me and it's like, yo, Diallo, I'm about to open this donut shop and I'm about to get paid. And I'm like, nah, man, you don't know how to make donuts. You ain't got a good location. You don't have a customer base. You don't stand a Chinaman's chance. Because being a Chinaman was synonymous with failure.
Exactly. All right.
And there were great famines. Like, remember when we were kids growing up and parents would say, eat your food because there's kids starving in Ethiopia? Prior to that, they used like, oh, there's kids starving in China, so you should be thankful for it. That's what people used to say when they wanted children to eat finish their supper in America. Because famine, when you would say famine prior to the Ethiopian famines, famine was synonymous with Asia, China, and India. So it wasn't just that they just had time to look internally and struggle internally and figure things out internally. They were under constant bombardment and intrusion on their territory. Constant. They had to be both simultaneously.
But they still achieved to get a big
yes.
of their population.
Yeah, but we're just confused about how it goes. It wasn't simply they decided to, okay, yeah, let's come together and organize and take power. Millions of lives were lost over centuries.
It was a struggle, but I'm saying, but they got it to where they have.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing that they got there, but I'm just saying that I think how they got there is often confused by many, especially Black people who want to follow a China or Sinocentric model to our own empowerment and liberation. I'm just saying it just wasn't that clear cut. And I don't
know all the particulars, but I'm just looking at the outcomes and what sort of government that they
China of today is not the byproduct of simply just the Chinese Revolution. The China of today is a byproduct of over 5,000 years of history and internal transformation and struggle and conflict and resolution. And they like to distill it down. And I say that as someone who's have great respect for the Chinese Communist Revolution, the Maoist and Maoist philosophy, and Sino, who has acknowledgement and respect for it. I don't think that it's transferable to us. We can't just mimic them and get our own way. But one thing we can learn from them is that they did examine their culture. They had a cultural revolution. They weaponized and radicalized their culture and their history for their liberation. And they did an examination of their culture and they purged their own culture, their ancient culture, of all the components that made it vulnerable to Western and external colonization and oppression. They got out from under. They didn't just liberate themselves from colonization or internal oppressors. They liberated themselves from what I call the tyranny of tradition, doing shit and continue to do shit because you did shit, continuing on something for no other justification. And that's what we used to do. As Del Jones says, revolution is a process. It's not an event. And we, a lot of times, we pay attention to the end stage of something and ignore it's just like American collapse. The collapse of the US empire didn't start with Trump. The American empire has been eroding for decades. But when history books, many of the history books are going to be like, oh, Trump was elected and therefore is the downfall of America. And so that's just the way, humans are allowed to process it, but that's never, it's a process. It's not an event.
Indeed. That's why I say I want eternal life. I want to see the event. I want to see the process. And I want to throw a rock.
Well, okay, let me tell you this. It's not true, but I'll tell you this because people like this. You do have eternal life through your offspring.
Man, look, I haven't prepared my kids for this world.
That'll be all right. They're going to be all right. I try to prepare my kids and they've just ignored everything. I'm like, good luck. So.
It seems like the revolutionary kids don't turn out well. It seems like
that's true. They don't turn out bad. They just don't do revolution. Yeah. You ever seen Dr. Khalid Muhammad's son?
Yeah, I saw that bullshit he was saying, man, a couple of years ago, man.
The kids. It's like, hey, let me tell you something. You ever hear what they say about the children of the pastor?
Yeah.
And the kids of the pastor. I went to high school with the son of one of the most prominent ministers in the Midwest. And that dude had the nicest car, the juiciest Jerry curl, and the flyest clothes. And that was the worldliest nigga. He lived like the Antichrist. So it's like the children of revolutionaries, they tend to be, and maybe growing up around, because Del Jones said that once. Del Jones said he had revolutionaries staying at his house. His son was around revolutionary action and revolutionary scholars and freedom fighters his entire life. And his son is completely apolitical. So
I guess you just got to get out that environment. He was so submerged, and he probably didn't ask for it. And he probably just, but man, like, that's a rough dynamic there, man.
Hey, listen, I never told my kids, you don't have to be revolutionary. You don't have to be vegan. You ain't got to do, you just got to do shit. You just eat what we make here. But as soon as you out there in the own world, you can eat what you want to eat. My son moved out in 2000. Just after the pandemic. He moved out just after the pandemic, and he's still a vegan. They both claim they pro-black and all that shit, but I don't believe nothing they say. Time will tell, man. Time will tell.
Hey, Brittany.
That's all I can say.
When Jesus come tell me that, then I'll believe it. But I don't push shit on them. I didn't want to indoctrinate my child. I was indoctrinated to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I was indoctrinated into a lot of shit when I was growing up. So I didn't want to force. Only thing I want my sons to have is a rational understanding, to be critical thinkers and rational, that reach rational conclusions. Other than that, do whatever you want. But when I come to you and say, why the fuck you do that shit? I expect to have a reasonable answer. That's it.
That's not too much to ask. Have a reasonable answer for the dumb shit you do. They don't always do that, but just keep the bar low and you can't be disappointed, right? Let me not diss. Shout out to my youngest. He's got on his way to college with a full academic scholarship.
Oh, man.
And then I get to be like, damn, man, I hate you got that scholarship because me and your mom was just ready to write them checks, man. We had you. You'll never know whether we had money. Oh, we had you, man. We was about to just cut that 6-figure check. Man, but you got the academic scholarship, I guess. We'll figure out something to do. Because we really were responsible and we saved.
That money be gone. That little money be gone. God damn.
He is looking towards medicine, biology, pre-med type shit, but he also likes art. So it's just going to be undergrad gen ed because every week he gives us a different major or path. So we're like, just cool and relax, man. Go get your prereqs done and then decide later. So, but it's anything from he's going to be the next Basquiat to the next, what's that guy's name? Gifted Hands, motherfucker. What's his name? Ben Garrison. So he could be the next Basquiat or the next Ben Garrison, but the non-Coon, he could be anything. The world is his oyster right now. So, but really, he's doing Ben Garrison, yes. So right now he's, we're like, focus on, because he's like in this heated race to be valedictorian, neck and neck for valedictorian with this girl who I think is cheating. So he's working on that and what he gonna wear for prom and trying to get a little job for the summer so he can have money in his pocket. So all that to say, I'm just talking about in terms of career, not exact replica. I'm just talking about in terms of career. But be honest, I try to tell him, be cool. And his mama too, because his mother works in is a professor. So we try to tell him, don't let nobody push you, because everybody gonna tell you, do this is the future. But follow your own path. Because neither me or his mother ended up where we started academically. So I wouldn't be surprised if he would. But I'm sorry, we missed so many questions, man. You done messed me up, James.
Oh, see how we do.
We supposed to do Q&As, and you sitting here trying to figure out how you can live forever. So I'm sorry about the questions, y'all. Next time we're on air, it's gonna be all Q&A because we done skipped over a lot of questions. Good questions too.
I ain't seen
good topic.
I ain't even seen the chat. Oh yeah.
Well, here, let me put these up. Thank you so much for your generous contributions, back-to-back contributions. Somebody's tax check didn't come through.
My man Namdi, boy, Namdi been showing out.
Always, man. We work for him. Go on and punch the clock. We work for Namdi at this point. And shout out to an anonymous grasshopper.
Namdi the sponsor of the show.
Yeah, he contributed. I didn't even pass around the digital 10 plate yet.
Oh, Namdi down, man. Namdi,
please make a contribution to James's Eternal Life Fund.
Yeah, I need vitamins and I need pure air. I need oxygen.
Right.
Or something, whatever that.
Whatever. You need one of them little hyperbolic chambers.
Yeah, I need one of them things, one of them oxygen rolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can stay young forever.
But anyway, man, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've been waiting all week on an email from Skip that he told me he sent. Let me see. That I never got. I wonder if he got the right Gmail address. Anyway, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for supporting. Sorry, my sinuses. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Man, they say these hard names. Dre of the newsteez.com. Yeah, I know he's a graffiti artist. And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, James, man. We got to get coffee sometime.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know what I'm saying? My schedule is a lot more clearer. You know what I'm saying? These days, I'm in a lot better position.
I'm coming out to your part of town tomorrow. I'm coming out to your hood tomorrow.
Hey, that mean I get cupcakes, bro?
I have no. She's into making. She just made a whole bunch of banana puddings, vegan banana puddings. I will be in your lily white neighborhood on the northwest suburbs. I will be. I'm leaving the hood. I'm going to be over there by IKEA. You live up the block over there by the IKEA, and
I'm off on Saturdays. I'm off all day tomorrow, man. So you know.
I'll give you a shout. And can you tell your white neighbors that there will be some black people coming through, some South Side Chicago cats coming through, so they don't get going on the community bulletin board or your HOA, whatever y'all got over there on the northwest side around all them white folks, and let them know that there will be some real black people coming through for a little while.
And my building is multiculturalism in my building, man.
Oh God, okay. You ain't got, hey man, you ain't got to prove nothing to me. Just tell your local constable, tell your local sheriff that your homeboy's coming through and to just let me pass. Don't pull me over. Because they know
what it is out here. You already know.
So I feel like you're not going to do what I'm asking you to do. So because you keep saying everything but yes, but whatever, man. But if I get pulled over, I'm like, James Willie Lump, I know him. Oh, he's a good one. Carry on, sir.
Hey, look, I gotta connect out here though.
I know you do.
Out of trouble.
I know you do.
I got one person.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, let me know, because I'll be out. I don't like to leave my community. I don't like to leave the black community. But when I do, I'm glad I'm coming to your integrated community. At least I know somebody out there. Until next time, bro.
Yes, sir. I'll keep an eye out for you, bro.
All right. Peace.